All right, hello and welcome everybody to another Magnificent Day at the Agency. I'm your Magnificent host, Agent Q. Up today is Yuki.
Hi, Yuki Des.
And today we are going over all of the new anime for the season of fall 2025, bringing into the new year with the ending of the last bit of the previous run. Now for this ring,
What year is it currently, anyway?
I don't want to think about too much else. So here, luckily. There's been a mountain of anime to bury yourself in. It's unfortunately it's garbage mostly, somewhat. Oh, I feel like our tabs.
Not even the good kind of garbage. Not even the kind of garbage that we usually enjoy stuffing our faces with, but just like old stale French fry that you found under the seat of your car kind of garbage.
Just looking at it like, let's try. Oh, that was a mistake. We've all done it at least once, whether as a kid or as a curious adult who never did it as a kid. You always learn through experience. But for the shows we'll be going over, now this is a ranking of the new series. If you are expecting a season 2 or a continuation or a spin-off of a particular franchise, that will not be counted here. The requirements to be in our ranking system are it has to be from a brand new series, or the two caveats being a complete reboot of the original material starting from the beginning again, or a spinoff of a particular franchise that has no connected material other than the name and basic mechanics of it. That second minimum has been added for, I was going to say this season, but then I remembered we did that minimum was added for Witch of Mercury back for the Gundam series. So I'm not adding a new rule for this season. I'm just bringing back an old one. All right,
All right. Yep. Oh, sorry.
No,
Were you still going?
Well, I was going to introduce you into our ranking system here and how we will rank each one of these shows this season.
Gotcha. Yep. So, we'll kind of start from the top here. S tier shows are shows that are, just like the absolute cream of the crop. In order for something to make S tier for our tier list, it has to meet one of a couple of criteria, such as being like the very first of its kind to do something in a way that will like set a brand new trend and
www.youtube.com/yukikaze-gaming-blue-sky.
it has to
Gaming,
be a
B-Sky,
like
social.
masterpiece, masterful execution of its like genre or of the type of show that it is. So these are shows that will be remembered and talked about for many years to come. We're not just talking the top shows of the season, but things that will be remembered and change anime discourse for future generations, so to speak.
Or be the peak of its
A-tier.
own genre that'll just be, oh, this is top tier, man.
Oh yeah, like more so than just this is well done and I really like it, but like, oh man, this is going to actually impact the way that they make anime in the future. Also, if it does something like really revolutionary, whether or not it's like genre impactful, it may get kind of bumped up into that list as well. So, for instance, if it's the first of anime of its type to tackle a specific social issue or something of that nature, and it's also very well executed, it may make its way up into the S tier.
Just because you're the
Um,
first doesn't mean you're the one that everybody remembers.
Exactly. A tier is extremely competent execution. This is stuff that may be like top of its season, kind of anime of the year sort of contenders, but that are not quite at that S level where they're going to really change the course of anime as we know it. These are the shows that, like, people will talk about. Almost everyone who watches it will enjoy it. People who, don't even usually watch that genre are likely to enjoy it. Um, but it's just not the absolute peak of, you know, production values and everything that can possibly be achieved.
It's missing that little extra
Um,
something.
Yeah. B tier is again pretty competent execution, generally speaking. But it's the sort of thing that will probably stay more within its own genre niche. If you're not a fan of that genre, you're probably much less likely to enjoy this show. And it's maybe just doesn't quite have the budget of our A and S tier shows. You're not going to see probably a ton of Sakuga for the most part, or if you do, then there's probably some really glaring defects that are holding it back from reaching those higher categories. C tier is stuff that's just pretty darn meh. You're not going to see much, there in terms of production value. It's going to be pretty average at best. And this is stuff that really is only going to appeal to people in that genre niche. It's really not going to escape that bubble at all. And even for the people in that genre, probably not all of them are really going to care about it. Skip is, and I'm skipping over trash intentionally. I'll come back to that in a second. Skip is for anime that we have deemed just so bad or not worth your time in some way that you should not waste your time watching it, even if that's something that would usually be in your genre, or that we between the two of us or any additional guests we may have for the season, we're not able to manage to watch the show. So it's either a recommendation for you to skip or it's something that we ourselves were forced to skip either because we just had zero interest in it or because we did not have perhaps the means to watch it. For instance, if it was um, an Ocean Vale show that we didn't have access to or something like that.
We do try to filter those out for watching areas, but dear God, do some of those ones just slip in somehow and pop up out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
And additionally, sometimes it's like we both had intended to watch it or something like that, or at least one of us had, and with the sheer amount of anime being released, around 40 per season, we simply weren't able to manage to watch it. And then finally, we have the trash category. Now, trash doesn't necessarily mean bad. We are enjoyers and connoisseurs of trash around here. Trash is stuff that can be very enjoyable. It's your junk food, your fast food. Who doesn't love stuffing some, McDonald's French fries in their face here and there? It may not be good for you. It may not be the most thought provoking stuff around, but it may still be very enjoyable. That said, it may also have a lot of glaring defects, the aforementioned health concerns, and it's high in salt content. And
I mean, who of us isn't just
Um,
gorging themselves on clearance Christmas candies right now?
so, usually stuff here is not going into the other categories for some kind of reason. Maybe it has a lot of egregious sexual content that doesn't really need to be there. Maybe it has just like a really cool storyline that's engaging, but the animation is garbage. Maybe it's just your average, run of the mill
Isekai plot
slop.
C with protagonist negative B with a heroine of A plus. It's
Yeah. And shows like that may fall in here if they don't really have any kind of overt redeeming value, if it's just kind of the same rehash stuff over again, but maybe still enjoyable enough to not be, thrown into like the skip tier or something like that. It will find its way into the trash bin.
okay. That with that said, to know why we declare each thing like ourselves, it's our personal tastes go as such. I am your mecha, your action, your shonen. You want your machismo fighters and occasional villainess. I have a little bit of a soft side. I'm your guy. But I will generally bounce off any kind of rom-com or slow-paced office work that's just set in the modern day, trying to get the drudge of monotony through it, or has a heavy tendency for melancholy. I tend to bounce right off of.
Yep. Whereas I tend to pick up those kinds of shows, taking on a lot of their more romance and slice of life kind of series. I do, watch your occasional shonen battler and stuff like that as well. But I definitely tend to bounce off more of the like modern military kind of demographic that Agent is definitely much more into than I am. And I am 100% hooked by Yuri Bait whenever that's available. So can count on me to pick up like the ecchi shows and stuff like that most of the time as well.
Yep. Now, for each of these things, we'll be doing a brief overview of the trailer that they tried to put out to advertise said show. So if the trailer itself we get is garbage, note that the company who was bringing this over, dubbing it, subbing it, or otherwise advertising it didn't care too much. That being said, what do we have up on the first? Yuki?
Yep, and quick note for people viewing this in post, if you're seeing this later on YouTube or something like that, we may have removed the trailer content due to copyright issues. Apologies, that's just how it is.
So try to catch it live to get all the content, but we do try to maintain, don't talk too much during our trailers, for we know how those like to get edited, cut, or otherwise VOD muted.
Exactly. All right, first up, we have A Gatherer's Adventure in Isekai.
Long awaited, feels like there are a bit of a reach there.
ここからどうしよう。探査魔法発動。これはかなりいいんじゃないか。うんこかよ。しかもランク高っ。
Basic Toei mascot character. Buy merch.
いただきます。ほっ。我の話を。おお、なんだこれ。こんな綺麗な水初めて見た。じゃテレビアニメ「素材採取家の異世界旅行記」2025年10月より放送開始。異世界最高。
Well, that does set a goddamn tone, doesn't it? For the start here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say off the bat, the animation in this was pretty bad. You could almost count on things not being on model. And the only really redeeming quality to its animation is that it didn't have horrible CGI.
Oh yeah, the monsters weren't even, were they? God,
No, they weren't. They were terribly drawn, but they were hand drawn.
Okay, now here's the question I have: were you able to finish this, Yuki?
I was able to finish this.
Okay,
Was it good? No.
So this is the one. If you could tell, we would like to say trash isekai. If your protagonist is generic, black-haired, pretty, I don't even know how I say pretty boy. It's like the generic default character for me now, like isekai protagonist. That black hair, pale skin,
Average Japanese high schooler.
I don't think he was a high schooler. I think he was like a middle-aged office worker for some. I don't know. But this was trying to be a cozy adventure isekai, and it did that. It tried to get by with some decent music. It tried to get by with some, I don't want to say generic, but basic. It doesn't sound much better. Characters.
I'm gonna level with you. It feels like it was made by middle schoolers.
I try umbrage with that because I'm going to have a show on here that I'm going to say it feels like it's made by middle schoolers in that tone a little later. And but yeah, this feels like they took the genre tropes, basic concepts of isekai, and just made a basic show with minimal competence that tried to. I want to give it credit for not using CGI, but honestly, like there are ones that have just used horrible CGI that are going to stick out in my mind longer than this one.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is one of those shows that you can kind of just throw on in the background, and it's not offensive to have on, but there were definitely shows that were harder for me to watch this season. So I don't want to give this one too much of a hard time, except that it really doesn't have much in the way of redeeming qualities.
I think this is going to stay at the top of our trash. I think if you want to be better than trash, you have to be better than this show. You have to do something that'll hook me to that. Are you pretty okay with that, Yuki?
Tentatively, sure.
I mean, okay. I have an idea of what your concept on there might be, but all right, we do try to move quickly, especially on the lower tier stuff. So we have time because we're going to be at this for a while, guys. So don't worry, we'll be going over all of this. But next up,
we have a mangaka's weirdly wonderful workplace.
この世に絶対ないはないんだよ。そう。奴の手持ちの中で私は最弱。自分のネームは遅れるくせに返事は即レス求めて催促するなんていうめんどくさいやつだと思われたくないだろ。でもまあちゃんと上がったし時間をかけただけあるよ。いいんじゃない？下見先生、いいから仕事して。なあもう好きな子に初めてメール送る中学生ですか？貴様に何がわかる？最近コミックス出て重版もかかった貴様にこの気持ちがわかるか？書き文字に白筆つけて見やすくするとかアシスタントして初めて知りましたし、それに嬉しかったんです。大丈夫ですよ、二人先生。一緒に考えましょう。そのために私いるんですし。絶対所詮褒められたい、褒められないと褒めらに合う自己肯定感最上。
I feel like this music sums up why I had a problem with this show.
This music honestly is too upbeat for this show's tone.
わからない。そういうお堅いお姉さんほどどうにかしてみたいってのがさ、人情ってもんでしょ。担当さんの美しさが何か関係あるんですか？だからつまりテレビアニメ「笑顔の絶えない職場」です。10月放送開始。
Well, that was definitely a thing.
So, how far did you get in this one, Agent?
Let's see. I watched up to our 3 episodes at the beginning, pulled up on episode 4, got to the end of it, then realized I don't remember what I watched.
Fair enough. All right. So this show is definitely like slice of life, Yuri bait manga production, and if the overlap of all 3 of those is not your thing, this is probably not really the show for you. Because frankly, even the Yuri bait aspect, they don't really do a whole lot with it for most of the show. Like, you can't really come into this expecting there to be much in the way of like tension there. However, I will give it credit for one thing, and this is a spoiler for like the final episode. So yeah, be aware of that, and I'll give you a second to like mute this for a few seconds or whatever. But there is at least a scene near the end of the show where the main character brings her editor home to meet her family, and the family's assumption is, okay, so when are you two getting married? um, and you know, I have to give it credit for that, because that is not something that you actually see a lot of in anime. Now, in this case, it was actually a joke of sorts. They weren't there for that, but like they kind of also low key were, if we're really being real about it. Like the main character has the most massive crush on her editor, and it is a major plot point of the series. But at the same time, technically, that's not what they were doing. So yeah, I think this one is pretty solidly in the C tier. It's not a bad show, but you're not going to get a ton out of it, especially if that exact genre niche is not your thing.
Yeah, I generally do like a lot of production and like a lot of how it's made kind of animes. But this, like, while some of that was in there, it was the second or third like priority of the show almost all the time.
Yeah, it was definitely an afterthought, and it definitely didn't go into a lot of like technical detail. There's for sure anime out there that will give you much more for your buck when it comes to learning about the behind the scenes day to day of manga production.
But,
All
okay.
right. Next up, we have A Star Brighter Than the Sun.
上白後期は初恋の男の子です。私が好きだった後期くんは多数が一般的にかっこいいと思う上白くんになってしまいました。小学校の時の上白くんではないから好きになっちゃダメなんじゃないかって。
岩田。
ずっと心の奥にしまってきた。口に出すことをしなかった。少しずつ自分のペースで無理めの恋に挑戦してみようと思う。太陽よりも眩しい星。どんなに眩しくても目をそらさない。
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this show existed until we rewatched the trailer just now.
Yep. So, for anyone wondering, we will. We most 90% of these are probably on Crunchyroll. For those that aren't, we will definitely say this is one of the Amazon Prime shows from this season. There were more than usual. We will point them out as we get to them. This is a goddamn. This is just a high school drama. There is no or big overworking plot. This is a will they, won't they, going back on a crush. This, like, I don't want to say this should have been a live action show, but like if you you hear the K dramas, the old school, that it's like that's what this felt like, the most melancholy high school romance, basic. Oh, he's my childhood crush. He used to be so sweet, but now he's grown up, and now I really like him, but I don't know, but he's too hot for me. And it's like, if there was a bigger twist, it was past episode 4. Because, oh my God, could I just sit there and not do anything with this show? It was just...
Yeah, it really, I remember the parts of it I did watch, I had some reservations about the way that it was handling things like bullying. And I think that's part of why I bounced off it a little bit.
Like
I
I
also
said,
do have that tendency to forget about shows that are on Amazon, but
like I said, it's like that old school high school drama where it's like, this isn't how it works. Stuff won't be solved with a quick song or a quick but it just had nothing going on, and it didn't. No, I remember because everything it had that weird golden steel frame and everything too, and everything was a little too shiny. And I don't want to say the adult look, but that blockier square kind of look things had. There's quite a few of that this season.
yeah, it's a style that's making a little bit of a resurgence, it seems.
Oh yeah. That being said, I don't know if I want to throw this into trash, see, or skip, honestly.
I wouldn't say it's trash. It's honestly not enjoyable enough to be trash. But I still think that there is an audience for this show. But you have to be the kind of audience that enjoys, I'm going to say, Twilight-esque stuff, where you don't actually care if the relationships feel any kind of realistic or make any kind of sense, as long as the person that you're shipping is having their romance.
Yeah, and even then, it's slow. It's very slow. It tries to introduce the love triangle, it's... there's nothing...
It's a borderline skip for sure.
Yeah, this will probably be at the bottom of C. It might get knocked down the further we get in if I really don't like it, but I can't bring myself to say enough about it to put it lower. So
I will say the animation on it was at least vaguely competent. There was nothing atrociously ugly about it or anything like that. The characters are actually on model. It had a style. That's more than we can say for a lot of shows this season.
Yeah. All right.
Moving right along, we have a wild last boss appeared.
Ooh, getting away from the blindness.
最後まで粘ったのに俺のルファス。
俺ルファスになってね。ルファス様、200年の間ずっとルファス様のご帰還をお待ちしていました。ディーナよ、世が去った後何があったのかを教えてくれぬか。はい、12聖典は全員健在です。ルファス様を倒した人間たちへの復讐として魔人王に組みしています。これより12聖典を集める限りでバカなことをしている奴がいたら世の責任で止めるぞ。どなたが200年でどこまで成長したのかこの身で試してくれる。どなたの全力世が受け止めてみせよう。
I'm assuming you did finish this one, right?
Oh yeah, I was happy with this one.
Now, this one really presented itself as a trash tier series. it wanted you up front to think that's what you were getting into. But I feel like that was a red herring, honestly.
Weirdly enough.
I think this show definitely probably escaped containment, and in my mind, probably belongs at least at the high end of the B tier, if not the low end of A tier. We had some competent writing, we had some good jokes, we had some legitimate plot twists.
Weird
several
product placement.
times. Yeah, right. It was an enjoyable ride, and although it definitely didn't have the most top tier combat around, it did have some, and some of it looked decent.
Honestly, the thing it reminds me most of is the first season of Overlord. You had a lot going on and a lot of pieces moving, but at the same point, the world felt well built. You had characters that felt like they lived in it, and you had enough plot twists going on that were interestingly hinted at, but never quite fully revealed. This does end on a bit of a cliffhanger for its season 1, but in a way, it's like, oh, I really hope we get to see more of this.
For sure. That said, I do have a concern that we might not see more of it, because I just have a feeling this didn't quite pull the Overlord kind of numbers that would be needed to sustain the show. I hope I'm wrong about that, because it would be great to see more of this made. But
Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's one other thing that really with this show and with looking back on a couple other things, this happens to be another show where while it is an isekai, the protagonist getting teleported into a game world. I know that's technically not accurate for anyone who's watched this. There's more to that. I'm not going to spoil why though. It's also one of the few ones we have where it not just turned into a monster, but turned switched genders. The main character was a man. The person they are embodying in this show is a woman. This is, while it is a little rare, we do see it every so often.
Yeah, they did that kind of with I would say with mixed efficiency or efficacy or something. I don't even know the word to use there.
They didn't go too much into it other than a handful of jokes, but it was interesting to bring up, and there are some other implications down the road for it too.
Right. Some of the handling was better than others. Like, I could have actually done without some of the jokes because they kind of undermined some of what they were doing.
Yep. Which I do have some other theories on that, but I will save those if we want to talk about that. The one thing I did want to bring up and talk to you about, it's like, that isn't an unheard of thing. Plenty of guys in shows have been reincarnated as women in recent isekai slush. But can you name one where a woman's been reincarnated as a man?
Ah, yes. That is exceptionally rare. I think that there is at least one out there, but I couldn't name it for you.
It's just I don't know. It was something I was like posting a couple of memes and like looked at that and was like, wait, yeah, we don't really see women turn into men. We see plenty of men turn into women, but just something I wanted to bring up. But yeah, that is the other problem, is the trash on the side of this is what kind of lower. I want to say if we got more of it, it probably would be better, but just off its first core, season 1, or however you want to call that, it doesn't feel better. It feels like it's a top end of B. It feels like it's just below, which maybe we do readjust this. This is done on a curve, and we do readjust as we go throughout the thing, but I think it's going to be at the top of B.
Yeah, I think if we're talking, like, if we're comparing against other seasons, that's probably where it belongs. We'll see if we have to adjust that for curve purposes. It definitely suffered from, like, the visual quality that wanted specifically to look like isekai trash. But at the same time, it setting those low expectations was part of its success.
Yeah. Lure in with B grade McDonald's and then throw, I don't want to say sirloin at them, but god damn, is there a lot of good stuff going on in this show I really want to find out more about.
good barbecue steak or something. Not quite sirloin, but like a much more substantial meal than you were expecting.
Yeah. All right. What do we got on the next? Yuki.
Next up, we have Cat's Eye, and this is a Hulu release.
今夜こそ捕まえてやる
Hold on.
恋キャツアイ
This is also a reboot.
これがお目当てのローマの女ね。作戦通り指紋は関係者から入手済み。行くわよ。うまくいった。
キャツアイだ絶対に逃がすなバーベキャツこんにちはい
らっしゃいませ。キャッツアイへ。
店名はどうにかならんのか
何か文句ある？泥棒と刑事、やっぱり難しいのかな。しばらく泥棒と刑事の関係を続けていくしかないんじゃない？ええ、私たちの目的を達成するまでは。じゃあ予定通り結婚ね。了解。私はキャッツアイと内通している人間がいる可能性があると考えています。
そっちの情報は全部続けだよ間抜けな子猫ちゃんどうするキャッツアイ逃げ場はないぞ
ごめん、どうしよう。それでも私
バカやめろ
全部取り戻そう。世界中に散らばっているパパの絵。これで役者が揃った。行こうよ。
All right, I didn't watch much of this one, and I know this is a little bit of a product of the era where this came from originally, but I do want to throw out there, let's rob a bunch of places with no masks on, and also call our business that we work at as our day job the same thing that we leave on our Phantom Thief calling cards. They'll never find us.
To be fair, the detective in charge of it does frequent that calf and has no idea.
Like the incompetence that was assumed of investigators of that era.
Oh, well, it's okay. So what this show is a reboot of a classic 80s. I want to say, if I remember looking it up right, it could be a little earlier. There's a lot of stuff on this that feels old.
Animation style was definitely 80s.
Yeah, but the biggest problem this show has is its age. I feel like it's almost a direct redoing of it with modern animation techniques, which could be okay. We saw, was it Yoshikabu or Kinsin, or we had a few of those this year with the same exact premise. This show just could not freaking land it. It came out with a dub. It was hard to put on in the background compared to a lot of these other shows even. It was just...
Wow.
Well, it nothing awful. It's just, okay, it's like you said, that's an inconsistency, that's an inconsistency, that's an inconsistency. How do they do that? It's a Charlie's Angels heist style show. It's that group of three female femme fatales, being sexy, stealing things, and doing a whole bunch of crazy stunts. It's where we got Persona 5's Phantom Thieves. It's part of the basis and redoing of what made that genre so popular. It holds so much weight still, but it's so old style in everything it does. It's like people are in this genre, people in the thief genre think about stuff more. We have come a lot further than, we can just be cute and quirky. That worked in its era. It doesn't work incredibly great nowadays, though. Maybe if it had tried a different animation style and hadn't gone for the more adult and mature style themes, meaning that your audience is going to be older and might be thinking about, well, that doesn't make sense, a little bit more often.
Well, keeping in mind that sort of theming at the time was targeted at a younger audience than it is today.
Yep, nope, I could definitely agree with you there.
That was definitely part of it. And back then, the original version of this show would have been something like people would have looked at it as like a Sakuga piece, right? It would have been something that people would have considered visual spectacle, and there were few enough anime and a few, like, small enough pool of competition that you didn't need to have today's crazy modern production values to wow people. And so a lot of this show's original appeal was probably just being like an enjoyable watching an episode of like G.I. Joe or He-Man kind of ride, where you're just like you're there for like the senselessness of it, and them just like doing cool stuff whether or not it made sense. Um but I think, to your point, that just doesn't age well and doesn't compete well in today's market.
I want to give it a little bit for the dub, but it's also a bit behind on the seasonal release. It's like, for a while there, I thought it was only 6 episodes, but then I looked at it today and it's up to 8. So I don't know if there's a delayed release or what's going on that one, but
It's Hulu. They release on whatever schedule they want.
yeah, especially on a weekly show. But I think I'm going to throw this into C. While it does do a lot of wrong, it doesn't do a lot awful. It's just an outdated piece of work. And if you like that stuff, and if you can get over that, or if you're just getting drunk with the buddies or other stuff, it might not be a bad show. But
Or
just,
maybe, for that matter, if you were a fan of the original and just want to see it with a fresh coat of paint, you know?
Yep. But okay, what do we got up next, Yuki?
Next up is Chitose is in the Ramune bottle.
美しくありたいんだ。あの日見た月のように。ラムネの瓶に沈んだ。ビー玉みたいに。どこかの誰かに好かれて、どこぞの何かしかに嫌われる。
I'm sorry, he opened that line and I'm instantly thinking of Moggers now.
いや、その山崎くんを説得して投稿させたいっていう話っすよね。
自分なら解決できる問題が転がってるのに、それを放っておいてもいいのか？何でもできるみんなのスーパーヒーロー、千歳くん。
どうせ他人に言われて。
いやいや来たんだろ。絶対開けねえ。
どうだった？
何か怯えてるように感じたかな。絶対大丈夫。タクだもん。私、認めてる相手には尽くす方なの。で、本題の方ははるちゃんに話してごらんよ。相変わらず君は不完全に完全だね。
そう身構えるなよ。あらわって話そうぜ。
俺たちの惨めさなんてわかるもんか。さっさと帰れよ、やりちんくせえの。俺だって本当はそっち側に行きたかったよ。
それでいいんだな。
街角に溶ける影星。本当の優しさって本人にだけは見えないようになってるんだよ。本当にそれしか手がない時は話してよ。調子乗んなよ、千歳。君も私もこうやって大人になっていくのかもしれない。動け、この足。まっすぐ前を見ろ。
これはエールだ。進め、振り返るな。
失敗して傷ついても戻らないで誓ったんだ。
ああ、食いしばってまっすぐ生きようとしてる人間の方が100倍素敵だってことだ。
Alright. As I recall, you pointed out sounds really hard about this one, right?
Yeah, I remember something towards the end of it, like piquing my interest. I still kind of have that in the tingle in the back of my brain. But dear God, do I just did not like even remember it after that. Like, this kind of reminded me of what the show was about.
So yeah, I ended up not watching a lot of this one either. I had meant to circle back to this one and just didn't kind of get to it. It wasn't. It had potential. Like, I feel like if it ended up going somewhere in the later episodes that I just didn't see, it could have been a decent show. But from what I saw, this one had kind of the opposite problem of most of the series this season, where it had like plenty of animation quality to play with, but the subject matter was boring.
Yeah, and the main character being a kind of pretty boy, popular kid did not really help that for me.
Yeah, it didn't resonate well because the character's not relatable, right? And I almost feel like this show really kind of wanted to be like the Rascal Does Not Dream series, but it just wasn't. I almost wonder if it maybe had some of the same production crew behind it or animation team or something, but just didn't have the same story to work with. So, I mean, if you want a show that's pretty and like, kind of a Rascal Does Not Dream Haru-y kind of setting, um, but maybe not quite as competently executed as those shows, then this might be something you would enjoy. But otherwise, I really can't see this as being, from what I saw, much more than like the high end of C.
And I think
the animation quality is like A tier, but it's really hamstrung by the relatability of the main character and how just nothing really feels cohesive.
Yeah, it sounds about right. I'm sorry. I think because we were missing one. And I think this might be it for our thumbnails.
Oh, yeah, you were having a hard time figuring out which one was missing.
Nope,
No,
nope.
I think
Yep,
I think I might see it.
I see it now. Yep. Nope, it's just this once again, we also try to get thumbnails off of shows as how they were given. This was the best one I could find. This awkward one, which normally it's because if it's an Amazon or if it's a Hulu show, we get ones like this. This was a Crunchyroll show, and they still screwed it up like that. But
were you going to put it on the list?
well, I was waiting for you to say where you wanted to put it.
Well, I was recommending like probably the high end of C.
You liked it better than Mangeki?
It's not that I liked it better, but I think the fact that it had really, really good production values pushes it above that. Like, it had the bones of potentially being really good, and I don't want to judge it too harshly because of the fact that I wasn't able to catch the entire series, and it could have been better later on.
But at the same point, it didn't bring us in enough to want us to watch it. So
yeah,
that's kind of the problem we get there. But
next up we have Dad is a Hero, Mom is a Spirit, I'm a Reincarnator.
And we were both sick of this show right off the bat.
Oh yeah?
母様、この腹黒さんは誰ですか？次の王様よ。その昔、何代か前に精霊の怒りを買い、王族は呪いを受けることになったのよ。以来王家は毎年精霊祭という名のお祭りをするの。精霊に許してほしいと願ってね。でも年月が経って自分たちの先祖が精霊の怒りを買った理由すら忘れてしまった。呪い。
What is with this 70s ass music?
ご覧、あれが王家だ。
第一王子のお坊ちゃんは賢そうね。腹黒さんと直接お話がしたかったのです。
間違いなくあの娘はなぜ王家と精霊が契約できないのか、その謎を解き明かしてくれるに違いないからね。
エレンは王家に目をつけられた。
待っていたよロベル。そして小さなお姫様、紹介しよう。ガディエル、12歳。
That's a bit of a tone shift, isn't it?
あなた、ちゃんとエレンちゃんを守ってね。
俺の娘に触れるな。ねえエレン。
Yeah, this show is definitely not known for its consistent tone.
魂たちを解放する力があるのでしょうか。生きてゆけるの。
All right. The animation in this was pretty garbagey. and so was everything else.
Were you able to finish this one?
No,
Okay, I did finish it, and
I'm sorry.
well, it wasn't guy. I don't mind it as much, but dear God, this just when we say inconsistency, there is truly well, first off, this is an isekai. If that wasn't obvious from the I'm a reincarnator title in the title, but it did not know what it wanted to be. It did not want to focus on the reincarnator. It wanted to focus a little bit on the politics, but it didn't want to drive into those. It wanted to focus on the spirits in the show, but it didn't want to drive into the. It wanted to put a bunch of cool concepts down. Say, oh, look at them do with this, and then move on.
Well, also, nominally, the main character was supposed to be the little girl, per the title of the show, but it was told primarily from the dad's perspective.
Which I don't want to say it was because it's not even because he is the main character. It's just the majority of the stuff happens around him, and he knows what's going on. So he became the viewers. What would be the word there?
Central focal point?
Yeah, because it's like we're focusing on him because he knows what's happening, what's going on, and he gets to point of view character kind of thing. It's like you get to see the world.
He became kind of the de facto protagonist, yeah.
Somehow, which only he had very little in the way of. I don't want to say very little in the way of agency in the story. It's just the stuff was happening around him or to people directly connected to him, and he knew how to handle it or do so. It's okay. It's I could probably go on about how it didn't do anything, but here's the question. It's like, is this just really bad trash? Like, this is just kind of garbage isekai fantasy slop, or is this skippable?
I am in favor of putting it in the skip category, personally. I couldn't see there being even enough entertainment value for me to consume it as garbage.
You know this one's going to get a season 2, don't you?
Oh, for sure. It won't deserve it, but it'll get it.
Okay. I think I can agree with you on that one. It'll be at the top of skip for now. I think most of the stuff coming out is going to be lower than that, but I think it's good to throw it in there.
All right. Next up, we have something that you'll probably be carrying here. Digimon Beat Break.
デジモンってのはサポタマから生まれたモンスター。そんでそのデジモンが起こしたトラブルを解決して賞金を稼ぐのが私たちクリーナーの仕事。あんたたちはもう賞金区。
I'm going to have a bit to go off on this one.
あれも夢か。なんだ。
俺っちは月光マンだってな。私はレイナ。何よ。誠と言います。誠見えない。賞金を免除されるためにはクリーナーとして働くしか道はありません。
トモロ、俺と一緒に来い。
クリーナーになれっていうのか。
他に当てがあるなら話は別だがな。だがまだ希望はある。
俺っちを信じろ、トモロ。
I love the opening for this so much.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to cut this one for copyright.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Bandai has been a bit weird with Digimon recently.
困った時はお互い様さ。俺はサポタマも AI も信用してない。お前は一人じゃない。信じろ、お前のビートを。
All right, I didn't watch this one, so have at it, Agent.
All right, so once again, we do generally stick away from shows that are spin-offs, are side stories. That the Digimon franchise is a bit of a weird beast, similar to Gundam. A lot of its shows are standalone that kind of take place with similar ideas and concepts. Digimon Beat Break does break away from all original canons. You don't need to know anything else about Digimon. As a matter of fact, it's probably made for people who don't know about Digimon. I'll get into a little bit of that later. But the show itself is a post-apocalyptic, cyberpunk-esque future where everyone basically has advanced AI tools to help them through their day-to-day life. That we get a big thing about how these tools feed off raw human emotion, and sometimes it glitches out, creating these weird digital monsters that become a kind of reflection of the person who makes them. And they managed to do some awesome introspective stuff per each character like that. Like, the Digimon in this game are almost Persona-esque. Digimon's been leading into that. So their main character, while he is the shyest, so much has happened to be edgy protagonist, he still is a young kid at heart. And his little Digimon partner, Geckomon, who is a gribblet of a character, if his little green design with him running around bouncing everywhere wasn't inclusive in that, reflects that. He's still a young hyperactive kid at heart who doesn't quite know what he's doing. And it's interesting to see someone like, I don't like this. I have so much trauma to deal with this. And then his talking to his inner self. And every character we come across has that dichotomy to them with their Digimon partner. Even the villains do to it to some extent, or I shouldn't say villains, the antagonists per episode or going on at that point very much do that. And there is a lot of interesting things they can do there. On top of that, a not dystopian cyberpunk post-apocalyptic future is a very interesting concept. I don't think I've seen too often. It's very much of, yes, the world got freaking wrecked. We don't know by what, we don't know by how, but it is recovering. Things are looking good. Society is doing much better, but there is an undercurrent of things going wrong. And this is a great show that is slowly introducing all these concepts. On top of that, it is colorful, it is vibrant. There is so much originality and stuff that just doesn't look like generic anime protagonists with generic anime background and city. The only thing I find a little bit weird is everyone's AI things are eggs. And it feels like, I don't feel like holding an egg to your ear is a very good way to talk on a phone.
Yeah, I mean, I can see thematically why they went that way, but yeah, it doesn't feel very usable.
It reminds me of the old Nickelodeon pair phones kind of ideal. It's like, yeah, this doesn't work realistically. That being said, this show does have some major flaws, especially if you are an older Digimon fan. We have some storylines that are just, well, he kind of wandered off to go get something at a convenience store and walked into the middle of a Yakuza battle.
Dad went to get milk and never came back.
Yeah, it's kind of on point for the show, actually. But it's on top of that, there are also some really bad animation errors and off-model pics that were floating around. If you're a Digimon fan or following any stuff going on, those got brought up really front and forward. There were some really bad ones.
I have a feeling, though, that this is the kind of show where those stand out glaringly because the rest of it is well enough animated that it sets the expectation higher.
Very much so. And Digimon loves to do that. I don't know what to call the aesthetic, but it's basically if you could take early 2000s, if you could take the internet as a concept and live in it, what that would look like in all of its chaos. And rendered PG safe.
Only the cat videos portion of the internet.
Kinda. In a lot of weird architecture in that digital. I just hate to say just pure digital, but wireframing and all that. It does so many cool concepts, and the one thing it gets the bonus for being a Digimon show. There has so many cool designs to pull from, meaning that you don't see a lot of generic thugs. They can just make old Digimon designs, old concepts that have just been not used in a while or floating around, or that are currently being used, but don't see a lot of limelight, and pull them up. That on top of that, it also does a lot of original stuff. But like I said, if you're an old school Digimon fan, there are very many concepts of, hey, they've introduced this concept and they are doing it. Why doesn't the main character ask about that? And that is a little problematic. Although you're in the middle of the show, you don't care too much about it, honestly. It's one of those, the more you think about it, it's like, oh, that was kind of problematic. The other caveat, it does get, this is a young teen, early teen shonen anime, so might not be there to think about it as that. I'm sorry, I know I'm gushing a bit too, but I love old school Digimon stuff, and I just have to get talk about this kind of stuff, guys.
Oh no, I fully expected this would be a thing for you.
Yeah. That being,
you know full well before the season even started.
yeah, Digimon World 1 was one of the first games I ever streamed. I've actually had preparation for this Digimon stuff going on right now. I've actually gone back to that stream and posted clips about that recently.
Oh, nice.
But it does have some flaws on that. Like I said, literally, it's the guy went out to go get food at the convenience store, wanders to a desolated part of town. Like they show multiple city blocks just leveled, and like there's just this like old Western style. Like this is a street with buildings on each side of it, like walled off. And it's like they're in the middle of a city. What the actual heck? But at the same point, it's so cool. And once again, these kind of shows live and breathe off all of their characters. Out of the main cast, I loved everyone. The annoying, hyperactive, childlike character, amazing. Like he had all of the Gremlin energy in all of the good ways. You don't see that too often. That's very good. Most of the other ones had.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The intentionality that you were talking about, in terms of like how the Digimon were reflections of the characters that they were partnered with, that particularly grabbed me because it felt like that was the kind of thing, that the kind of layer that was maybe lacking in some of the early Digimon stuff. So it's cool to see them doing something with that.
Oh yeah, no, it's very much on top of that, and to the point where all the Digimon, like I said, they are born from the machines that run off human emotion. So when your Digimon wants to power up, Digivolve, Shinkai, whatever the heck you want to call it, it comes from the character having emotional growth. All of their power is directly tied to their emotional and physical state of being, and it is.
Oh, interesting.
It is a very interesting thing. Like the main character doesn't get his transformation till much later in the show, and it comes off of kind of accepting who his partner is, what that part of him he is, and looking at oh, he screwed up like this, just like I used to. And it's looking at that little piece of your interior self, growing up and. Like I was saying, just gaining that empathy, but gaining that self-understanding and then growing from it. Why did they do this? Oh, now I get it. I gotta stop myself here. I want to throw this in the A. It's if it did a little bit better on its stories, because like I said, there are just a handful of stories that oh, they went there and this happened. There's just a few too many of those in the story. And it's oh, but they happen to be wandering by. But that being said, so many of the other things in character bits are so top notch. And the fight scenes are really good. Somehow they introduced fighting a motorcycle. Not somebody driving a motorcycle, just the motorcycle as a fight concept. And it was really cool. But, okay.
Yeah, I can see how you'd land there, because if it's just being held back by some stuff that kind of is dinging it here and there. And it definitely did look like it had some decent Sakuga from the little
Trailer.
bit that we saw in the preview there.
And funny enough, the trailer doesn't have the best stuff. The trailer just has the early stuff.
Mm. Well, I mean, that makes sense because it is a pre episode 1 debut trailer.
Okay. But
All right.
Moving on. What do we have next?
Next up, we have Dusk Beyond the End of the World, also subtitled Toa no Yuguri. And this is created, or at least animated, by Progressive Animation Works, as you can see on the screen here, who you may know from the Fate Stay Night series. So definitely some solid animation quality here.
Well, Fate Stay Night or Fate's Unlimited.
They might actually have done both. I'm not sure.
No, because there are two Fates. The first Fate series is not well done.
I know they do work on the Fate series. I can't remember which part.
If it's what they're known for, they did Unlimited Blade Works, but
私はアンドロイドです。夕暮れと申します。そうぞ。話をさせてくれ。お、今してますよ。
How much of this one did you catch, Agent?
Oh, I watched all of this one. This was High Dive putting money behind something.
Oh yeah, this one was definitely a solid series.
Yep.
Not just in the animation quality either. Like, there were a lot of cool concepts here. The one thing that was probably a little bit awkward was the whole episode 0 thing. But like, you really can't make sense of the rest of the series without watching episode 0. It just feels a little jarring for it to like basically switch to a completely different genre after the first episode.
Honestly, it's like their episode 0. If they would have thrown that in like after 2 or 3, I could definitely see that working a lot better, honestly. Like, if that would, because
right, like, get you invested in the show before they force you to make the investment in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you're going for there. Like, if it had been interspersed as, like, I don't know, flashbacks or recovered memory fragments or something like that, it would have felt a little more fluid, I think. But that was probably the biggest, like, most glaring issue the series had. Other than content warning for some folks, there are some like low-key incest and like underage character themes going on in this.
Low key, my goddamn ass.
Well, they're not technically blood related.
There was a 3-episode arc about a brother and sister wanting to get together.
You're talking about not the main characters.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, them. That's its own whole thing. But
Yes. Besides the main characters in a very interesting relationship, which I don't want to go too much into on spoiler warning. But yeah, there is straight up incest. There is kind of an underage theme in some aspects of this. That being said, it's not supposed to be there to promote those concepts. It's there to promote, I don't want to say even promote, it's there to explore what love means and how we perceive it in a current cultural status almost. Like how we perceive a one-on-one marriage compared to, say, polygamy, or how we perceive, living with certain types of spouses or other concepts like that. And I'm trying to tiptoe around major spoilers in this show because god dang were there some twists.
it has it definitely has a strong theme of non-traditional relationship types and exploring those through various lenses. And that is definitely one of the things that is very cool and interesting about the show, but that may also put off some viewers very significantly.
Though if that isn't something you're interested in, this is another kind of thinking about it, there's a handful of post-apocalyptic shows this season. About like futuristic advanced androids and other technology things and the fall of AIs and other concepts of control for information also serve as a major plot point and world building aspect of this show.
Indeed. That said, also this may be one of the very first shows that has like an official non-traditional marriage or non-traditional relationship kind of relationship between the characters. And I do think it deserves some credit for that, as well as just for the general exploration of the topic, which it for the most part handled pretty well, I think. There's also some other there's transhumanism, AI as a topic, as you kind of touched on already. So there's a lot of things that are very relevant in current culture being analyzed through various lenses, including the lens of this like post-apocalyptic world and the changes that culture has gone through and juxtapositioning those against the more traditional values.
Yeah. That being said, the one problem I had with it is it wants to explore them. It wants to kind of leave the viewer up to the side on that. But at the same point, it also touches on some really, I don't want to say weird, but really kind of esoteric stuff and like, oh, figure it out for yourself what this means for you and like how like right or wrong this is. And it's there's sub stuff in here that's just very touchy. I don't know if I liked how they handled it.
Fair enough. Although I think it's also worth noting that the LC thing in this, because and I can't avoid a certain amount of spoilers here, because it's not marriage and does function differently from it. It's really more of a family unit than it is necessarily a relationship, so to speak, in like the adult sexual sense. So it's hard to say how much those are problematic in some of these cases, because they're not like the what's being established isn't a marriage. It is a family unit that is distinct from a marriage.
Yeah, which does bring up a cool concept because we do get a interesting love triangle where almost everybody is equally in love with each other, with the exception of two characters, which only one doesn't like the other one and sees them more as a rival, which is it. Like, I'm not gonna say, like, I'm not knocking it. It's just, man, you needed to kind of go into that one a little bit more, possibly, or some other stuff. Like, it's like I said, it did a lot of interesting things and it touched on a lot of stuff, and I really did like that for that. But I think it needed to do a bit more. If this hadn't finished up as a single season, or if it would have done a little bit more exploration of the characters in other arcs, I think I would have enjoyed that more. But as it stands, it's like I just needed a little bit more to touch on from the main characters, a little bit more to explore on that one.
Yeah, I think had they split it into 2 seasons and taken the episode 0 stuff to intersperse in, which would have added, to the main series runtime a little bit and helped get you through that second season without filler. It would have given them more time to explore some of this and develop the characters a little better. But at the same time, that might have made the pacing too slow for some of the reveals. So I can kind of see why it ended up this way.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like, I can understand about the pacing, but there is also so much to explore further in this world. Like, there were so many
for sure.
unanswered questions. It's like, I'm curious about this. There are a bunch of characters that were hinted at, were shown off, were given incredible character designs.
Or even, spent an episode on these cool backstories and stuff with just pieces that were never resolved. But at the same time, it's kind of interesting to view how, the lives of others touch your own in a way that impacts the course of your life and the course of their life, but doesn't always give you those resolutions and answers as you part ways.
Or characters that you've never met, or people you've never met that massively impact your lives, and you are almost unaware of each other.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, this is close to S. This is very close to S for me. It's just it just bugs me. There's just a little bit here, a little bit there, and it's tiny bits that I'm just on this one to kick it out of S for me.
Yeah, I'm very tempted to throw it into S tier, if only because of how the topics it broached and how unique that is, and the fact that it handled them decently. But I can see the argument for A. I am unfortunately going to have to step away for just a moment. Someone keeps ringing my doorbell.
Okay, we will take a short before you do. We'll take a short break before we place that, because I also need to refill my water bottle. So BRB, everybody. All right, welcome back, everyone. And we were just about to place this, so I had one question for you because this is going to be in the A tier. Do you think you want to put this above Digimon, or do you want to leave that up to me, Yuki?
Well, you've seen both and I haven't, so I kind of have to leave that one up to you. I really don't have a way to judge Digimon. We know both of them were kind of vaguely S-tier contenders that are held back by a little bit. So it kind of puts them both in the same boat and probably leaves them roughly about equal.
Well, that's the other thing I was like thinking about too. When I was thinking that it's like they're both post-apocalyptic, like futuristic tech about found family. It's like, wow, there's a bit of overlap there, and it's if this has to be left up to me, I like Digimon better. It's like I know it's probably a little bit more of my bias towards it, but there were plots in this I was just rolling my eyes at and just Digimon's weakest plot was just had me okay, that's weird. It didn't have me bored ever, was the problem I had there. The I think it was the second plot line they went through definitely had me in a very kind of moment there. I wish it would have picked up a little bit more quicker, explored more of the world. It just that Yakuza family plot just I could not enjoy it. Weirdly enough, that was what threw me off. But before we got a little further into that, I did want to make an announcement and a little post here. For anyone who still has a Twitter account,
https://x.com/agentaq12316/status/20061651515151
we'll be running a contest depending on which major
$?S=20.
God, that post I got.
AgentTQ123 to please refrain from posting links.
Yes, Streamlabs. Thank you. All right, well, on my side of the stream, at least, we'll be doing
It's still visible on my side.
Okay, we will be doing a poll to figure out which major RPG series we will be focusing on. The big contenders this time around are Suikoden, Wild Arms, and Grandia. There is 1 hour left in the vote, which will be announced at the start of the following stream directly after the anime list. I'm going to be on for a while tonight, guys. For anyone thinking around, it's going to be a long night. Hold on. But it will be up to that. It will be announced at the start of that stream. So if you like the channel, like old RPGs, and want me to try to follow it, the voting is up. Place that now. With that said, Yuki, load up the next one, would you?
Will do. All right, next up we have Hero Without a Class, Who Even Needs Skills?
職業、それはこの世界において女神様からの祝福だ。
君は無職だ。
努力には意味がある。だから職とスキルがなくても悲観することないかなって。大丈夫だ、俺はもう十分に強い。
俺は無職だ。
スキルは女神からの祝福だ。好きに選んで手に入るものではない。
ようこそドラゴンファームへ。アレルさんを仲間として歓迎します。
強いやつと戦ってもっと強くなる。そのために俺はこの町に来たんだ。
Yeah. I can't believe it's not isekai.
Yep. If you thought this was an isekai, you are incorrect. This is just a fantasy schlock that wants to be isekai. It's a I think it was one of the people I talked to a lot kind of asked me. It's like, well, if they want to do all that, why don't they just do it? Why do they have to do it in reincarnation? And this is that answer.
Partly because it makes less sense without the context of having someone who is reincarnated.
Yeah, this is, I don't want to say the hero's journey necessarily, but this is I wanted to get stronger, so I trained. Then I went to go to the place that trained to be better, and I got better. Then I came home and trained in something different. And then after I got good at that, I went to the place that trains to make you better, and I got better. And then I came home. My sister,
his power level is over 9,000.
My sister really likes me too much, but I like girls with big boobs. I only point that out because he repeatedly makes that particular joke.
No, it's also relevant to the plot.
Kind of.
You did watch it all the way through, right?
At the very end, yeah, I don't know. I was watching it, but I was tuning it out towards the end. It's just this. I love how
spoilers here. Let's not forget that the sister literally used her special power to command him to marry her.
Yeah, so direct incest vibes on this one. Pro Tycoon is not a. He's taking the words of "Don't fuck your sister" to very much heart.
The sister, on the other hand,
both
the
of
older
them.
sister, who very much appears to be a younger sister.
This is basic power fantasy in its. I don't want to say rudimentary, but basic doesn't sound right. If you wanted to just make basic power fantasy main character without going over the top and wanted to kind of do the modern hero's journey with the there's a lot to go into, but
I don't even know if there's a lot of hero's journey going on there.
Yeah, it's
there is a hero who is on a journey, but I think that's technically different.
Yeah, that being said, I don't have a lot against it other than just how very basic this is, so I feel like it goes into the trash very comfortably.
Yeah, it's like at the low end of the trash bin, honestly. Animation is pretty garbagey. It feels like they tried to stuff like at least 5 distinct manga arcs or something, or maybe like 5 different light novel issues or something like that, all into a single anime season. So there's a whole lot of like, you see this character and you're never going to see them again.
Yeah, I know we don't mean main plot. We mean this is filler arc, training arc set stuff. Like this is all this is. There's just not much here to it, but
someone mistook the training filler arcs as the interesting part of the show.
Which they can be. They can add a lot. They can add stakes, introduce characters, give interesting background to them. But you gotta do something with that. There's gotta be some kind of stakes or plot or something going on. And
It has to lead somewhere. It has to go somewhere with it.
pretty much. Yeah, I think that sums that up pretty well. What do we got going next, Yuki?
All right. Next up, we have Inexpressive Kashiwada and Expressive Uta.
よう柏だ差し入れやるよなんだ今の動き
何か仕掛けてきそうな顔してたから。
どんな顔だよ
ふす。
今日こそは顔に出させてやれ。
笑ってやがるいつの間に柏田さんの ID 知ったの太田何やってんの
好きだからちょっかい出しちゃうんだって。
ちげえよ
あげる。よかったら食べて。
顔に出てんぞ太田。
でも太田のあんなとこが好きだよ。
いいか、俺はデートじゃねえ。
やっぱり照れてる。
照れてねえ
柏田、赤くなってなかったか？太田はわかりやすいんだけどな。
うるせえ
なんで柏田さんにこんなに反応するんだろう。ふす。
何笑ってんだよ
真っ赤。
そういうのじゃねえから
そういうの？
こいつやっぱり分かりづれえけど。
ちかなんだよ
来年も一緒に見ようね。
Okay, so would was it something Hawaisha can't communicate, or
Inexpressive Kashiwada and Expressive Uta, but I can see why you would think that because this is discount bargain bin Tenmu. We have Komi can't communicate at home.
yeah, that's exactly what I thought when I started after the first episode of this. This is just that, only without the characters being as likable, or without them being as interesting, or without the jokes being as funny, or without
the animation quality or the
yeah, it's
like if you took Komi can't communicate and cranked everything violently down to a 3 instead of an 11.
Yeah, I think I got to episode 4, then I realized I had watched episode 5 and I didn't remember what happened again, and it was just like, yeah, nope, I'm gonna have to drop this here. Did you manage to get further in this one?
I did not get particularly far in this one either, and I would say I recommend watching any of a pile of similar shows rather than wasting your time on this.
Yeah, I feel a little bit bad compared to what else is going to be thrown down here, but I feel like this is another skip.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the argument for it being kind of like C-tier quality, but the reality is that these types of shows live and die by the character relationships and your enjoyment of them, and this just flubbed that.
The fact that I started this and you two instantaneously thought of another show that just did everything this did but better does not bode well for there. If your show is instantly, oh, this is like that, but worse.
Yep. In like every conceivable metric.
Yeah. So I think that's good to leave that one there.
And I almost want to apologize because we are going to be, I think, a little harsher than usual on some of these shows this season. But there was some real slock pumped out. Like, the quality just hasn't been there consistently from season to season lately.
It is, but it's we're starting to see the unbalancing happening again. It's like we're starting to see the really interesting good shows, and then anime number
This
16.
harsh divide. Yeah.
Which, all right, let's just kind of kick on that one.
All right. Next up is Let's Playing.
Follow on Blue Sky at agentq123.bsky.social and watch the archives at https://www.youtube.com/agentq123.
私が主人公の最難関の物語。
Wow, that trailer didn't fucking give you any idea what the show was like.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and probably for good reason. The more you know about this show, the less you want to watch it.
Which is odd because I've heard from a couple people that this was a very coveted, I think it was a webtoon series that people are like, oh, this is going to be good. It's how far? What did you watch in this one, Yuki?
I did not get very far in this at all. I got maybe through the first couple episodes or something like that, and the characters were offensively bad to me. I couldn't.
The show that most reminded me of, if you are familiar with it, is Gossip Girl.
Interesting.
Well,
but yeah, it's like it's just so hamstrung by how unrelatable the main character is, and how like shoehorned all this stuff is. It's another one of those like Twilight-esque series where like you just have to be able to suspend disbelief that all of this is possible and that like any of these character interactions make any kind of sense.
Yeah, that being said, the biggest problem we had was the characters. They're all, I don't want to say rich, but one of the characters has a butler that follows them around constantly. Let's give you ideas like what their living situation is, and
everyone's at least upper middle class,
yeah,
not super rich.
Yeah, and it just leaves that, oh, I have so much drama in my life because of this, this, and this, because I'm in this circle, but he's doing this, but he's this, but this is that's kind of the Gossip Girl thing I want to say. It's people so rich, so well off, so everything in their life is just basic drama, and they get to go over the top with it because they have no other aspects in life, which, okay, that used to be something you could get away with. A lot of us are kind
of the 90s.
Yeah, a lot of us are kind of looking at what our food bills are like right now and not happy with what our bank account looks like afterwards. Which I hate to bring into the real world, but it's like it's the disconnect, the sheer and utter disconnect, and I hate them and I hate the characters because of some of the drama they get in because of that. It's like, oh, they didn't like my game, but it's like, oh, this is gonna happen here, but it doesn't really matter because I'm gonna get into just. Yuki, would you like to put that in any other way?
Sure. Yeah. So, like the central kind of problem is that almost everything that would have made this interesting on paper is undermined by the fact that the main character is this like super rich girl who is set to inherit a company from her dad and has like there's no question that that's going to happen. Like it's not as though there's drama there and like, you know, dad might give the company to someone else and she might have to fend for herself. No, it like she is 100% guaranteed to get this company. Her father dotes on her. Like she's a nepotism hire at her own day job. And yeah, like it's so unrelatable and at the same time frankly a little bit disgusting.
Yeah, that is one of the problems this thing definitely has.
So, like, I mean, on paper, gamer girl romance sounds like the kind of thing I would be interested in. This is one of the worst possible conceivable implementations of that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie on there, and it's just I don't want to throw this into skip, but I feel like this is a C overall.
It's at best a C. Like, this appeals to a very, very specific crowd of people who want that very specific kind of drama and want to be able to suspend disbelief on this stuff for that specific kind of, like, I guess, power fantasy of being able to put themselves in the shoes of this character that just has everything and will have everything fall into place for them regardless of what kind of hurdles they encounter.
Which I don't know if you like those K-pop rich dramas or Korean. I don't know. It's if you like that stuff. Once again, power to you, but neither of us liked it. Their animation was very basic, I believe, too, on this one. It's just
Oh, it was subpar for sure.
all right. Where do you want to throw this in C then? I guess would be the question.
I'm tempted to say somewhere down near the bottom of C. I think at least even the show that's currently at the bottom of C had at least a unique animation style to it. Like, it was and the characters, while not great, were less offensive.
Okay then. All right. Let us move on then.
All right. Next up, we have Little Miss Vampire Can't Suck Right.
And no, we wish it was like that.
転校生の石川さんは
That would have made for a better show, to be honest.
ミステリアスな雰囲気と圧倒的な存在感でクラスみんなの注目の的。モブの俺が関わることはないだろうと思っていたのだが。
ママになっちゃう。ありふれた花言葉の代わりに思い出を紡いでゆく花束のシルエット。私頑張ってみる。
俺で練習するっていうのはどうかな。
石川さん、私も血を吸われてみたいなーなんて。
ったく二人とも石川に甘すぎだろ。甘やかすだけが教育じゃないんだ。
いただきまーす。吸血鬼はかっこよくないとダメなの。
気にしなくていいって。俺石川さんの練習に付き合うって決めたし。
よーし。
そうその調子だよ石川さん。
テレビアニメ「ちゃんと吸えない吸血鬼ちゃん」10月放送開始。
Yeah.
Can I go off on this first, right off the bat?
Yeah, feel free, go for it.
All right. This wants to be a vampire comedy who only wants to take vampires because they're supposed to look cool. They have fangs and pointed ears in this and suck blood. I don't remember them having like any other kind of powers, abilities, or detriments to anything else going on. It's cute foreign classmate who kind of has to have a unique quirk that I'm going to help her with because it's why do this if you no I
She did technically have the power to fly.
did
It just didn't come up much in the show.
Yeah, we wanted to have this concept. We wanted to run these jokes, but we didn't really care about any of the other things that come along with this concept. All right, that was my bit.
All right. I would say overall the execution of this was probably marginally more competent than like Inexpressive Kashiwada. It's the animation and stuff is all a little bit higher quality. The problem is kind of what you touched on, which is that the central premise of the show is very one note and gets very old very quickly. I tried to watch more of this. I put it on and I woke up 3 episodes later after having passed out. So that's the kind of level of entertainment that we're talking about with this show.
Yeah. And that's about, like I said, I want to do that. I've given my 2 cents on it. This is a skip. This is a hard skip. I think it's going to be better than whatever the heck that was, something bottle. But no, I could not stomach this. Like I said, Yuki passed out for most of this. This was like, I've seen this concept before. Like, I've read manga with this very realistic concept. I was mildly excited for it.
Oh yeah, this is another one of those shows where on paper I was like, okay, this could be cool, this could be cute, and then,
Yeah, pretty much. But okay, let's.
Also, I have to take one additional dig at it because they bothered to have one of those scenes that's supposed to be like, they go to, the swimsuit store and are trying on swimsuits, right? And usually that's meant to be an excuse to show off the characters in a bunch of cute outfits and a little montage. And that's all it's really there for, right? That's all that exists for, is to give a little bit of fan service to the audience and let them see the characters in cute and or sexy costumes for a minute. And they cheaped out on that, and what they did instead is they had one of the characters hold up a swimsuit, never actually had the character change into it, and the whole scene ended with only one character ever having like put on anything different at all. And we didn't even see the swimsuit that the character who was there to buy a swimsuit ended up buying until a subsequent scene.
What, they didn't do the whole vampires can't be seen in reflections and just had a swimsuit floating in front of her in the mirror?
Nope, they didn't even bother to do that. They couldn't even be bothered to make the obvious joke, and instead were just like, oh no, I'm holding up this swimsuit that's too racy for you to change into.
It's all right. Moving on. Makes you want to put it lower, but okay. Okay.
Next up we have Alma-chan wants to be a family.
戦闘シーケンステストは91から99まで完了。
一般知識、日常会話も問題ない。ようやくだ。
せいぜい協力し合いましょう。
各部動作問題ありません。次の指示を。お父さん、お母さん。
お父さん！
一般的なデータと照合します。よろしくお願いします。お父さん。
何が家族だ、何が娘だ。すべては目的を叶えるための道具。
え？はあ？夫婦の話？何言って。
一般的には生み出してくれた男女を父、母と呼称すると言います。お父さんとお母さんを認識しました。
Wow, that was some cheap animation for the trailer.
Well, you know what? At least it's more consistent than most of the animation in the actual show.
Yeah, so what we have here is a there is a genre in Japan about kids with crazy powers or crazy friends that have crazy powers, and the shenanigans that follow that. I think Doraemon is the biggest example of that. This wants to be that while also being the Japanese people, go out and screw already. We need children. They're fun.
It's also got a little bit of Astro Boy kind of stuff in it, yeah.
Yep. Well, I was also going to say it wants, because besides all of that, the vibe I kept almost getting from it was Spy X Family. They wanted the main character to be Anya to an extent,
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
but it's not there. It's just not there.
It's not even close. It's not even in the same ballpark.
Like on so many of those concepts. This feels like we wanted to do this. We wanted to do this kind of show. It's like I've seen better versions of this that were parodies of like super robot shows where like they were all like robot children.
Yeah, and it tries to have this like found family element to it too that just doesn't really work with their dynamic. Um, it just it is a whole bunch of like tropes and ideas just kind of thrown into a blender, and none of it's good.
No, the
Um,
AI aspect doesn't go far. The family aspect doesn't go far. The school life aspect doesn't go far. The rival aspect does. It's like, just just keep it. It's all sprinkles, no ice cream.
I'm picturing that with like the look on the person's face as they're handed this all bowl of sprinkles.
It's like it's this triple scoop cup, but it's like half a scoop of ice cream, and then just the rest is just topping, 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 and it's like that's all this is.
Oops, all toppings. Yeah, that's almost kind of a good way to put it because it's all like how the show is skinned, but it's all skin deep, and the skin isn't very appealing. Um, I would honestly say this is another kind of skip show.
That's about where I was gonna put
There's
it, but it's like
yeah, there's not much redeeming here. Um, even if you're a fan of this kind of genre and like it really actually wants to be in a lot of ways like a cute girls doing cute things show as well, but it's not that either.
No, I think I want to put this second from the top. I like it better than Vampire.
Yeah, I mean, I was at least able to finish this one, and I didn't fall asleep in the process. I will note that the vampire one does have better animation than this one. But
I like that the robot girl is clearly a robot girl. They use that premise to its fullest. That's one of the few things this show actually does. Is it dubbed?
there's at least a little more variety in the jokes and what's going on in this one, I guess, is its redeeming quality in comparison.
Yeah, but no, that's another. I don't want to say hard skip, but it needed to do more. It just needed to polish itself up or do an actual. I don't know. But
Yeah, there was really no like underlying plot happening. It was hamstrung by a lot of things.
all right, what do we have next?
And next up, Mechanical Mary.
まさか本当に作れるとは。俺が一番嫌いな人間がどういうやつか教えてやろうか。嘘をつく人間だ。故に俺に嘘をついた人間は社会的に殺す。
こんなの聞いてない。いくら私が人間らしくないとはいえ、こんなのバレるに決まってる。殺され。
すげえ。ロボットのメイドさんとかマジすげえ。赤く。
ちょっと待って。これ本当にさっきと同じ人物？
俺は感情を持たない無機物しか信用していない。硬い。さすが金属製品。
本当です。ロボットメイドです。
俺は その無表情な顔も可愛いと思っているぞ。行くぞ。
そんなこと言われたの生まれて初めてです。
So
No, I think you ended up watching a lot more of this than I did.
I think I watched a bit more than you did. But if anyone's wondering, like, when Tesla or the other major companies promote these big AI inventions, and then you find out they don't work right, they were lying, there was actually somebody controlling it the whole time, guess what happens when they make an anime like that? Very much is a premise of we need to develop an AI or a robot made for this person who's constantly being assassinated. But we really don't have the technology for that yet, so we're just gonna hire a MMA fighter to pretend to be a robot because they're so absurdly powerful. There is some fun things for Dynamics jokes on that, and you've already heard them all. There is so much funny things they could have done, and by episode 2, they were already starting to repeat themselves, and it does not go off anywhere from there at all.
I was worried this one might end up being kind of one note.
And the problem is they even introduced like the actual robot made that like they were trying to make, and it kind of pops up a couple times. But all I'm reminded of is Ninkaro when they introduced was it Ninjaku? The robot from that one, and it has a lot of the same feel, only it's less likable and not as funny. And I just see so much else on this show that has been done better, more entertaining. The main character is like person he's supposed to protect, the guy that doesn't trust anybody. I'm pretty sure he's gaslighting himself. I'm pretty sure he knows that she's not a robot, but he likes the fact that he likes believing it so much that he doesn't want to stop believing it.
He's got sunk cost fallacy in his investment in the fact that she's a robot.
I don't know. It could have gotten further. I couldn't finish it. It was not good. I'm throwing this straight into the skip again. I'm putting this above Alma-chan because this had some pretty cool Sakuga in it at some spots. Sometimes here and there.
It definitely felt like it was a step above in the animation quality, if nothing else.
And that's pretty much where it's going to be. Once again, the Reincarnator show, I'm putting that above because I was able to finish that one. This was just blech.
Well, by that logic, I was actually able to finish Alma-chan. I did not finish Mechanical Mary.
I mean, do you want to put Mechanical Mary under Alma-chan?
Not necessarily.
Like I said, I liked Reincarnator a little bit better. That's the only reason that keeps that above that. It just, I think it might be my Isekai slop love too, but that's about where I'm throwing that at. I think we can just move on to the next.
All right. Next up is My Awkward Senpai. I did actually watch this one all the way through. I'm assuming you didn't get very far in it.
I think I got to episode 2 and then tried to watch it for our 3-episode rule and could not do that.
Fair enough. This is another one of those shows where on paper, this is absolutely like my cup of tea because it's very much like autistic coded gamer girl, tries to survive daily life and dating, right? It's definitely like low budget though. You can really see it in the animation. The characters are frequently off model. To their credit, they do at least make the main character somewhat cute and, give her a fair variety of relatively cute outfits. But one of the problems with this show is it is adult dating, and these characters 100% do not act like believable adults. Like, there's a lot of series where the high schooler or middle schooler characters have more emotional maturity than these two. um it's just it's one of those shows where don't expect anything to happen. Don't expect these two characters to get anywhere in the relationship until the very end of the show.
Yeah.
And even then, don't expect much. Like, this is lewd hand holding at the most kind of series.
Yeah, I was definitely getting like, I felt the high school, like middle school romance in this, and it's like, I can understand. Yeah, adults are weird and awkward. They're not weird and awkward like this though. This is clearly fucking middle schooler. All right, this isn't somebody who's gone out into the world. It can talk to people.
Yeah, like even for the neurospicy crowd, this is not the right kind of social awkwardness.
Okay, Yuki.
Anyway,
where are we throwing this one?
I mean, it was still a watchable, vaguely competent series, even if it wasn't the most enjoyable. I would say it probably ranks in like the upper mid C category. Probably just above Cat's Eye. Yeah, right around there feels about right to me. And that's with the, again, C tier. You're probably not going to watch this unless this is absolutely your genre niche.
Yep. All right then. What do we have up next?
Next up is My Friend's Little Sister Has It In For Me.
好きな子には意地悪してしまうものだ。その仮説がもっともらしい真実として語られているのか知らないが、少なくとも俺にとってそれは完全に嘘だった。うるせえぞ。
How much of this did you watch, Yuki?
I watched the entire thing.
And you didn't want to move it to the Adult Swim area?
You
know what? It honestly just doesn't have that kind of content. At least not that I can remember.
Isn't this the show that has the teacher saying, I don't like boys after they turn 15?
That is a good point. It does have that. The thing is, the teacher really is only relevant for like one episode, so I kind of forgot about her. But also, none of the content is presented in a way that, like, would necessitate it being in the Adult Swim section. It does technically have that theme to it, but there's nothing explicit about it, and it's not like we don't see any of the results of that.
Yep. Okay. So I really wonder what we're talking about there, coming in from the VODs. This show is degeneracy light. Like, this would probably have been more memorable and watchable if they would have went a little bit more extreme with the premise they started with, other than being scared of it.
Yeah, no, clearly this wanted to be a, like, it wanted to just go all the way and be like your little sister hitting on you, but they took the coward's route and made it be your friend's sister for sanitization reasons.
And a bunch of other weird concepts. We don't like to spoil too much if we don't have to, but this wanted to be lewd and crude and really spicy, but can't handle more than a mild glaze on its wings that also have to be boneless.
Yeah, this really wanted to be something in the vein of like, let's see. There's two good examples, and I don't know why I'm having trouble thinking of either of their names.
Eromanga
I'll let you
Sensei.
talk for a second. No, I wasn't going to go Eromanga Sensei, but that is valid.
There's also the other one on here because, like I said, I didn't watch most of this because I know everyone on my channel gets to realize that we do get to be a bit of gooners on here and get to talk about some very lewd stuff. This was dull. This just, it did not want to do anything it committed to. Like, this wanted to be, I can't believe it's not hentai, but couldn't. It wanted to be the PG. Like,
Question mark?
it definitely, like, there are some definitely PG-13 things that popped up here and there. There's one infamous line that I probably, I already said it on the thing, but the teacher confessing to the main character, I don't like boys once they're older than 15.
Yeah, the teacher is definitely a rampant pedophile, which is mostly relevant for the fact that she is being blackmailed for it. There's also some light reference to some, like, implied bondage kind of stuff, because we do see this, like, basement room full of torture devices, but there's no indication that any of it is actually used on anyone at any point in the series.
Okay, Yuki,
I would say this was more entertaining than most of the stuff that we have in the C tier, to be honest. Despite everything holding it back, it was, at least I stayed awake through it, you know? So I'm inclined to put it at, like, the top of the C tier.
I can get away with that. I personally want this in the skip just because I'm trying not to get too demonetized at this point in the show. But it wanted to be more, and I felt that, and it bugged me that it wasn't at the same time.
Yeah, it really wanted to have more of, like, My Dress Up Darling, or, like, jeez, I'm still drawing a blank on the name of the one where the girl's always teasing her senpai, or Paisen.
Yeah, the darker skinned girl with the little
Yes,
cat.
her Nagatoro-chan. Yeah, it really wanted to have those, like, Nagatoro-chan kind of vibes, but it just wasn't a good enough implementation.
No. But all right.
Okay, next up we have another High Dive show. My Gift level 9,999 unlimited gacha, backstabbed in a backwater dungeon.
僕のギフトは
I
全
feel
く
like there
役
was
に立
more
た
to
な
that
かった
title too, if I remember correctly.
奈落の奥底で
Yeah, technically that's not still even the full title. The full title is like a whole paragraph.
何言ってるんですか本当嫌になるわ
I suspect they hit the title maximum size restrictions on YouTube.
まだ死ねないでも抗う術がない僕に残されたのはギフト無限ガチャだけ我が主
I
君ライ
do
ト様
like this opening
絶
song.
対の忠誠を誓います
値の前で不敬を働くとは素直に死ねると思うなよ
主に不快な思いをさせるそれだけで地獄すら生ぬるい
お任せください苦しみ抜いていただきますわどうか命じてくださいライト様の望みが私の望み強くなりたいこの手で復讐したいんだ必ずこの空の音は
私たちにはあなたが必要なの
あいつらを信じて殺されかけたそれは僕が弱いからだ
最下の目は積んでおく
自ら復讐をなさるというのなら情けは無用です 行こ
了解した。ではまずは我が輩から。
う。踏み台になれることを感謝しながら
I didn't realize he was CGI in some of those scenes I've seen in this
世
trailer.
界を揺るがす復讐劇
Yeah.
開幕。お前たちは絶対に許さない。テレビアニメ無限ガチャ、今からとても楽しみだよ。どんな絶望の顔を見せてくれるのか。10月放送開始。
It's always a good sign when they don't bother to translate or subtitle the trailer.
Yep. So we have the trash category for shows like this. This is another.
Oh, yeah?
I cannot believe it's not isekai with a revenge power fantasy. Which, okay, I want to give it credit. This isn't a I'm a healer, I'm a tank, or doesn't work because of this. This is blatant racism turning into a power fantasy revenge story. It gets a little credit for that. Other than that, there's some cool character designs besides the main character, who is black-haired protagonist number Shorta.
Don't expect to get any backstory or character development on any of those cool characters design characters, though. That is not what we're here for.
Nope, it actively does not want you to think about all of the characters and stuff into this show and all of those things they could do or how they could do. It's there for a revenge power fantasy. And it's not awful at that, honestly. It's like we said, we have the trash category for shows like this, and okay, we're gonna place this right away. I think early on. Do you want this below or under Adventures in Isekai?
I would say this is above, like, if only because the overall quality of the animation and everything was a little better.
There's an actual plot.
Technically, there is an actual plot, yes.
I really do hate, like, a lot of these shows, there isn't like a main drive or main plot driving the characters forward. It's just things are happening.
I'll definitely give it credit for the fact that the characters were at least consistent from scene to scene.
Yep, the bad guys, like, you didn't feel bad when they got horribly murked. They're
Oh, hey. Sorry, you know what we forgot to mention about Adventures in Isekai?
yeah.
The fact that an entire plot revolves around the fact that the elf is a hermaphrodite.
They bring that up at like 3/4, and that's a weird thing on inbreeding.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's like with representation. I like it, but if it doesn't matter to the story, I don't like bringing it up. It's like, I'm not going to give you extra credit for, it's this character. That's how we got a lot of bad press. A lot of people got a lot of cannon fodder to do bad things to that. It's like, it's harmful. It is the first step in getting representation. It's harmful, though.
Yeah. You have to approach these things like, they didn't even get a full joke out of it, which it feels even worse, right? Like, it just like was a fact and it was there, and then other than that, it could have just been treated as any other quote unquote curse. There was no reason that it had to be that specifically. So, okay.
And it doesn't matter to the overall plot. It's like, yeah, it's just okay. But back to the anime we're actually covering. It's fun if you like revenge story plots. It's not doing a whole lot original. There is some Overlord-esque themes, just because I think a lot of studios like, people like this. If we use the same iconography, it'll get people to look into it. Which, okay, that's not a bad marketing tool.
Or steal a plot arc from it. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of we have Overlord at home thrown in there, and it
doesn't do much with any of its concepts other than main character OP going to get revenge and some.
Oh, don't forget the edgelording.
It's like he wants to edgelord, but is just trying to aura farm instead. I am no longer light. I am darkness. That was a line.
And no one will ever figure it out.
Except for the first person that could recognize him, who instantaneously recognized him. Which, yeah, it's. I feel like I'm getting more hate than I probably should, but at the same point, it doesn't really do much. It's fun.
It's not a good show, but it's still a reasonably enjoyable-ish show, if you can ignore the fact that it's not a good show.
Yeah. All right, let's kick over to what we have next, Yuki.
And next up we have Pass the Monster Meat, milady.
魔獣をほふる変わり者と噂の残虐非道の狂血公爵だけどなんて美しい人十分に下処理さえすればどんな魔物だって美味しくいただける
私にも食べさせてもらえないだろうか魔物の肉を
なんて素敵なの
これは他の魔物料理も期待したくなる味だ
私もこんな風に魔物を狩ることができたらどんなに素敵かしら悪食霊場と狂血公爵2025年10月から TBS BS11 にて放送開始
Eating monsters really worked for that Dungeon Meshi show, right? We should copy that.
Yeah, my first thought was this is Delicious in Dungeon at Home, or it's like you said, Team. It's the second show like that instantaneously wrote that. And the fact was, this didn't start off too badly. There was a lot of cool concepts of like, oh, like we don't eat monsters because A, they're bad. Nobody's really figured out how to properly prep them to not be partially poisonous. Oh, there's religious aspects for these people who don't want to do this because of how like their belief systems were. It's like, and then it doesn't like to go into any of that. It just turns into, oh, he's so cute. Oh, she's so cute. And it's like, oh, but we're Corky and Violet, but he really likes this. But she like it wanted to do all these interesting plots that Delicious in Dungeon had done, but didn't know how to, and then decided to just fall back on romance subplot as main story.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I had to say there was no overarching plot. I think they went like 3 episodes just traveling from one castle to another.
I'm not sure. That's about where I stopped watching, to be honest.
I got past that, but it's okay. They're moving. They're at a fort. They're at this. It's like, okay, they want to like go into prepping, like what the difference between this is, like why this. It's like, things have to matter. Reasons to do them. Like you can't just these characters. It's like there was so much interesting stuff at the start to look at. It was a little off. It was a little bit weird, but then it just didn't do anything. Oh, it's like, that's complicated and tough, and I don't know about that. Let's just
gloss over it.
Yeah, let's just look at how cute these two are together.
Isn't it good that these two characters that we literally designed to be made for each other are so made for each other?
Yeah, it's okay. Here's the thing. It's like I want to place this. It's not going above C. I don't know if I want to put it in C or put it in skip, though, is the honest thing here. Just because this show has so much of, hey, wants to be like Delicious in Dungeon. Only not as good.
I feel like it's roughly on the same level as like Mechanical Mary, so I can see the argument for keeping it in skip. It's not overtly bad or offensive from what I saw, but it's also not
entertaining.
very entertaining.
Yeah, that's exactly. It's just you were tired of it once you realized there wasn't going to be a plot or a storyline or
There's no intrigue or
consequences.
consequences or
Things are kind of happening and they don't really matter because they're all kind of, there's no danger, there's no
tension.
yeah, it's, are these two going to get together? Yes, they very much are. They've very much established right away they love each other. They realize how well they fit together. It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm good with this. Let's just do this. Want to get married? Yeah, no, that sounds amazing. And it's like, okay, go with.
You've resolved the entire series in the first 3 or 4 episodes. Good job.
Yeah, like now do something. But okay, it's. I don't want to burn too much energy because I have things I do want to talk about later. So, all right, Yuki, what you got anything else or?
No, that's I think about right.
All right.
Next up is plus-sized misadventures in love, and I'm gonna warn up front. I could not stick with the show because it is overtly fat phobic. If that's something that is problematic for you on any level, go ahead and give this whole segment a skip.
聞こえますか？もうすぐ病院に到着しますから。
このまま死にたい。神様。次はもっと。私。超かわいい。
You know when they
肌が白くて
do
瞳が
how
子
much
犬の
like
よ
the
うに潤
comics
ん
sold in the
で
trailer.
まるで眠りから覚めた白焼
I'm
き
feeling
姫
that
み
that's
た
starting to be a
い。
warning
か
sign
わ
for
い
me.
い。奇跡
Oh yeah, for sure.
たのは記憶の一部だけ。なんて運がいいの。何これ。まさか盗撮。あなたどうしたの。
出勤前はいつもこうだから。
写真の人。あらやだ、クマができてる。せっかくの綺麗な顔が台無しになっちゃうわ。
面白い人だね。
私またあなたと話したい。
君と友達になりたいと思ってた。
名前聞くの忘れてたわ。でもそれくらいがロマンチックかも。
私、青山警察署の谷川と申します。
殺人。
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting with this,
If this had been handled well, it could have been great, but it wasn't, and thus I feel like this is the kind of show that is potentially very harmful to people. But I'll pass it to you from there, Agent.
Well, what I was gonna say is, you want to just throw this at the bottom of skip?
I kind of do, yeah. I feel like on principle alone, this show should not be watched. Its creators actively should not be supported for what they have done here.
Yeah, which, okay, what little bit of cultural thing we can note about Japanese is they have a very particular look, feel, and principles on how you should look and act, and being a divergent from those really puts you in a weird place in society. Especially being overweight. This doesn't handle that well. This tries to frame it like you just need to solve it with attitude, and no,
It almost portrays like that you have to be mentally ill in order to find self-acceptance while being overweight.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the show's premise.
Like, I don't want to say too much or go into too many different things about that, but yeah, it's I watched the first episode and I instantaneously went, ah. Which, once again, with my taste, that's not too surprising. I think you watched a little bit more of this.
I might have gotten to like the second episode or something just to give it like a little more of a chance, but it was not. It didn't look like it had any chance of redeeming itself, frankly.
Yeah.
It kind of just kept digging itself deeper. And then also, for some reason, a murder mystery.
Yeah, if there was something better, if it was something later on, you can't open with an anti-hook and expect people to stick around.
Yeah, for sure. I think the worst part is they thought, like, the sense I got was that the creators legitimately thought that they were being, like, generous and well-intentioned, and, like, that they were doing something that was promoting positive body image here.
Nope.
And so they promoted it kind of as being that, and it very much is the opposite.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna waste too much energy there. What do we have moving forward, Yuki?
Next up is Sanda.
Another Prime show.
雪が
to
降
be
った
fair,
12
about
月
who.
25日に自分の危険を
Yeah,
顧みす
but from the makers of
この学園の生徒こそが
why am I drawing a blank on
日
this?
本を再建すると信
Manga or
じて
anime?
やまない絶対権力者だ
Anime,
そして子供が
recent,
要求したも
very
のを与
good.
えること
トラウマゼロ教育を校訓にして生徒たちを保護し常に行動を見張っている
Alien and Spirit one, right?
あと一つ
Yeah, 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 yeah.
生きること
Oh, how
俺
the
の場合
heck
は
am I
若い
forgetting
体でいる
that?
時よりも少しだ
I
け
know, right?
It's not
What?
Shokugan,
It was one of
but-
the best series.
お姉さんだ力を貸して
I think my brain is just officially fried.
サンタクロースとの約束だ
Oh, no.
サンタクロースとか知らね
Dot
え
to
よ
dot.
そんな大昔の伝説
Yes, Dandadon.
サンタがいつでも胸を貸してやる
Which the other thing, the creator of the manga on this one is the creator of Beastars as well.
私の務めは子供たちを守ること信じてくれサンタを
I'm gonna mostly let you drive on this one. I feel like I didn't quite get far enough into the series to really get to the hooks or the cool action or anything.
Okay, where do I want to start on this one? All good things for the most part. This one, a lovely, unique animation style, boatloads of like cool action Sakuga throughout this, just on the tone. The main story revolving around Japan, where birth rates have basically collapsed. People become ultra obsessed with looking young, all framed in. Okay, so there is a very, very old genre of anime that was all about students living at a dormed, basically schools. I don't necessarily want to say private schools with certain headmasters or stuff being incredibly evil, oppressive, or downright I don't want to say malignant, malicious against the student body, or at least trying to use them in certain ways. This is taking that concept, throwing it in the constant birth rate collapse in Japan, and then all pointing it around kids relying on the superpowers of Santa Claus to help fight the evil tyranny and save their friends. What in the absolute madman creation was the thought process behind this show? Because Oh my god, just the how bonkers it can get. The main character is a. I'm gonna point out the episode 1 spoilers. The main character is a direct descendant of Santa Claus with all of his powers. He just has to wear red and do a couple other stuff on Christmas Eve to unlock his Santa Claus themed superpowers, such as summoning sleigh runners, being invulnerable to fire, being able to tank through bullets.
Because, that's what Santa is known for.
Okay. So the weird part is they're going with classical Santa. What I mean by that is not the Coca-Cola loving, like, even though it's the red suit theme and all that. This is the Santa the Barbarian, like, powers. Oh, you joke, but that's a weird genre. That's like an old school thing, and it's very interesting. It's very cool. And this kind
yes, Santa from the old Scandinavian Claus the Destroyer.
I will link you the comic based around that. It is amazing. Santa is like, okay, I'm going to get off topic. This show just happens to be bonkers, crazy, nonstop. The characters are insane. The rules that they point out in this world are absolutely nuts. It is legal for a child to kill an adult because you have to protect children to that extent. Like I said, the weird evil headmaster obsessed with constantly being young, who's had so many plastic surgeries, his body is like 80% mechanical at this point. Like, the only things that are still human about him are his brain and his hands, because for some odd reason, hands are something you can't get plastic surgery on. I don't know why. It's a very weird concept. At one point, his eyes pop out. Just whoops, they weren't attached right. Let me socket them back in. But it's so over the top and bonkers. One point, one of the girls just, you know what? I need to make it a risk. I'm gonna get a bunch of explosives and just strap a bomb to myself. Oh, you better figure out where I hit it.
Would you say this kind of harkens back to the old school random chaoticness that we used to associate with anime like Fooly Cooly?
Oh, absolutely. Like, honestly, like, okay, the first comparison I want to make with this one is Kekko Kamen, which is an early Go Nagai one, which had the very similar concept of like boarding school, evil headmaster, students fighting against the repression. Just there's another thing that show's known for that I'm not going to bring up. And this had like all of that crazy old school Go Nagai bonkersness to it. The original writer for this is coming off their run on Beastars for the manga. Like I said, the anime is done by the guys who did Dandadan, so the animation quality is right up there in its own visual style. The reason I wanted to bring up the Beastars person is, besides being, doing their second big anime, they are also the daughter of the main mangaki behind Baki the Grappler and all of his batshit insanity. So you are getting second generation crazy. And I absolutely love it. If you ever see the artist, you'll know that she has the picture of herself with the giant chicken head.
I have not.
I'll pull that. It's like I love her stuff. Like, but I'm getting off topic. I want to throw this in A. I want to throw this up there in A. I don't know how much.
Follow on Blue Sky at agentaq123.bsky.social and watch the archives at https://www.youtube.com/@agentaq123.
Like, all the characters are written so well. All of the, like, once you realize how bonkers the world is, it's so insanely crazy. That heavy line style makes it seem so distinct. Figuring out the powering of Santa Claus as a superhero, and like how he gets his strength from like the joy and wishes of children. There is a lot of things they definitely play with in the show that I don't necessarily want to go over and spoil it. It's best to experience it for yourself. Um, ah, God, the more and more I'm thinking about it, it's like I'm trying to figure out the flaws, the problems I had with this damn thing, and it's like I can't really think of anything.
I mean, the crazy randomness does require a certain amount of suspension of disbelief, um, because it is so wacky and off the wall, right?
You're
Like,
expecting
if you can't get past the fact that it is ripped Santa beating people up, then this might not be the show for you.
Yeah, okay. It's like I live off that kind of crazy, so I like I said, this is why we have a co-host to balance each other out on these kind of things. Um, so I think I'll have to put it below that because you really that suspension of disbelief really is lifting some weight. At the other time, if you're expecting to get take seriously a show about a 14-year-old boy getting wearing red, transforming into an old buff Santa, and fighting evil school teachers, um, anime might not be the right medium for you.
Are you saying go home, tourist?
Maybe. I'm sorry.
Santa is where we gatekeep.
But okay, like I'm gonna sit there and like I said, I'm gonna get into spoiler territory, but this also does it's another weird like Japanese people. Your birth rate has hit an all-time low. I don't mean as compared to anything. I mean your birth rate has hit an all-time recorded low in your entire history this year. Go have kids. I'm not joking. Like that was the official release from Japan this year too.
Oh no, I mean they're desperate to get people to have kids. Like it's literally a real problem, and it's why it comes up so much in anime.
Yeah. There are some, like I said, cool things. If you want to watch some over the top crazy Santa stuff, it's perfect. Bringing this out in the fall season, which yes, we are in the fall season. Winter only started last week before. I don't know. It starts around December 22nd, 20 something or something, I believe. So we are only just started winter. We were in fall until recently. Yes. So it is an interesting concept to have there. I recommend it. If you love the bonkers, you love the crazy, go watch that. But
by the way, I will note this is neither here nor there, but the major issue that Japan is experiencing is not that people hate children. So I really don't think all these like attempts to promote children through anime are going to pay off for them.
Nope. Okay, I believe you weren't able to catch any of this, correct?
Yeah, I pretty much left this one to you based off of like the era and type of show.
Yeah, so that's actually the show's biggest problem. So this is a spirit or yokai murder mystery kind of show. And it is so steeped in Japanese culture that if you're not a native Japanese person, I feel like you are going to just be lost on so much reasoning, why they do things the way they do, what is with all of like the certain honorifics, respects they use, and other stuff like that. I could not. I think I got to episode 4, and then I just could not understand. I knew what the plot was. I just didn't understand how the characters worked. I didn't understand why they acted the way they did towards each other. I didn't understand a lot of the lore behind the yokai or why they did the things they do or how they acted the way they did. There was just a lot going on here that I couldn't understand. And I think
so this is probably more aimed at like the very serious Japanese history and not lore, but like
if you're native to Japan and you can kind of understand the retrospect on this, it's people get enough of Western cultures and Western sensibilities to where they can just slap that genre onto stuff, and you get, oh, this is why they do this, and it's fairly understood. Old school Japanese, or no, yeah, no, old Japanese culture, unfortunately, isn't ubiquitous enough to be able to do that. And
It's very much like trying to relate to like Shakespearean stuff. Like it's just the times are so much different, the words are so much different. You know, that there's all this formality that we've lost to the ages. So you have to be a real connoisseur of that kind of stuff, I think, to really be able to penetrate this.
yeah, and that's kind of what the problem was. Is other than that, I don't want to throw this into skip, but once again,
It's just for a very specific audience.
yeah. So I think I want to throw this at the top of C.
Sure.
Just because this feels well done, and this feels good as far as I can tell. But once again, I'm missing the cultural explanations on what this should be like. So I'm having a harder time with it. And I think most viewers are going to have that hard time. On the other hand, if you're not, and you do like it, like, let us know. Like, I would love to hear like what this show was supposed to be talking about, because it did feel a lot of interesting. It just, I could not understand it, and it unfortunately it expected you to know that on principle.
All right. Next up, we have I'm not sure the pronunciation, but I'll try here. CV's The Sound of Heroes.
どうする陽介一度イントロを止める
いや大丈夫だ。あとは俺たちのライブを見てろ。 じゃ行くぞ。
イデア7万突破。
今日はいつもとノリが違う。だからいつも通り全力で慎重に行こうぜってこと。
どんな事態に陥っても常に完璧なパフォーマンスを提供する。それが
私たちシービスに課せられた使命。
Alright, I think I pronounced it right at least.
蹴りつけようぜ。
なんだよそりゃんなこと言ってる場合か。
真面目にや
Where I know this background music is something else.
陽介緊急事態よ。
今はこいつらを倒すぞ。
ならせこの声がその声が歌に変わる時。
大丈夫、僕が守ってあげるよ。
ステージに立ってみればすぐにわかるよ。踊って私の歌を飾って。
俺たちのパフォーマンスは大勢の人に見られて大勢の人を魅了してこそ力を発揮する。迎えに行くぞ。サポートよろしく。
This one I also completely left to you, so feel free to take it away.
Okay, so one thing I wanted to really step on with this one is there is an old archetype in storytelling for the mecha genre of, hey, the world's being attacked by this secreted monster, alien organization, interdimensional thing that the government really can't handle, doesn't know about, or won't believe us. So this underground organization funded by this elite group of people has made these machines or hired these people or has this group with special powers to help fight against said thing and protect the world in secret. Only the...
i.e. Sentai.
And not quite Sentai, because the second hook that is the most commonly used, and I only want to bring this up, it will be a bit of a spoiler because I've seen it so much, is, oh, hey, this new character who's young and inexperienced but has a lot of promise steps in because they want to see what their older brother / mentor / role model is doing. Stumbles into this whole secret fight and gets them killed, and now they have to step up and fill those shoes they left. I.e., I think the most common variant of this is Voltron, which is a very common premise. Gurren Lagann stepped on that same premise with Kazuma, and there's so many it's such a staple storyline of the mecha genre. I just had to point that out. That being said, this is an idol anime. Okay, this isn't an idol anime. Okay, this is a idol like group anime that isn't all girls. This is the pop star. You know, we got the boys, we have the girls, we have the singers, we have the dancers, we have the front. This is an idol-esque anime with one of the oldest and most well-known Super Robo plots on top of it. And it's okay. The music is, I think we were watching the trailer there. I was hearing the music, the intro for it, and it's like, I've heard this somewhere before. I can't quite place it, but it sounds very generic. And unfortunately, a lot of the music in this comes off as generic. And when your idol anime's songs and music feels generic, and you're using a very old, not widely used anymore, but was a very widely used plot line, storytelling wise, it very much feels it. It even has this mysterious girl who we're not quite sure about. Turns out she's also part of the extraterrestrial, a secret aliens, interdimensional, underground dinosaur people race. But
crab people.
Okay. I'm only bringing that up because of the story. Sorry, it's a mecha thing. Once again, it's like this entire series plot is an old mecha genre staple. And I kind of was going to be a little bit harder on this, but going through these, so many of these shows don't have plots. Just having an old school, basic ass bitch one feels kind of refreshing in this garbage heap. I'm sorry, I'm straining my voice there. That being said,
we're still looking at somewhere in the C tier for it.
Yeah, like a little piece of me is like, I want to bump this up to B, but it's like, this is kind of. I want to throw this at the top of B. It's like there was enough here to where I wanted to like it, but it just feels so by the numbers basic. It kind of loses points there, but at the same point does enough really fun, cool stuff. I'm also kind of like, I want to put it higher, but if you're not familiar with any of these genres, and you're just coming into this, I could see you really enjoying this show. But if you're an old Taku veteran, you might have some trouble with it. But, all right.
Fair enough.
Let us move on.
Next up, we have the banished court magician aims to become the strongest.
もう一度言う。宮廷魔法師アレク・ユグレット。お前はクビだ。卒業してから4年。ずっと支えてきたつもりだった。だが。
アレク、僕と来てほしい。君の力が必要なんだ。
俺は役立たずの元宮廷魔法師だぞ。
僕らの大冒険が始まるんだ。話してみれば。回復魔法は得意だから。
俺らは伝説のパーティー、ラスティングピリオドなんだからよ。
Still a very unfortunate name.
頼りにしてるわ、主席さん。始めよう。新しい伝説を。あの日の続きを。
今の俺は宮廷魔法師じゃない。平民と手を取り合えた。ふざけるな。
もっと描き続けることができるわよ。アレクならもっと。
俺らが世界で一番強い冒険者になりゃいいんだ。簡単に言ってくれるな。どぎも抜いてやんだ。ラスティングピリオド。俺は最強を目指す。アレク。
I'm pretty sure we both watched this one, and I have a feeling you want to go off on this one a little bit.
So yeah, this is the basic. Oh, you get kicked out of the heroes party because you're not as good, but you're secretly really good. Which like, okay, you're not like picking on them because they're a white mage or a tank, or you're picking on them because they're a commoner, and this is a rate or class thing. It's like, okay, I actually kind of like that twist. Then they resolve it halfway through, and then the main character loses almost all of his agency by the halfway through the story. And I'm just kind of like, what is going on with this now? I'm really starting to realize that the theme of this season is we lost the plot. But
Yeah, this is kind of another isekai-esque kicked out of the party series. Honestly, this one is just kind of firmly in the trash bin, in my opinion. Like, there's not much to talk about here. There's not much of value, but it's a thing you can watch.
yeah,
Animation-wise, it's probably a little better than Adventure in Isekai, but
I like the
other than
plot
that,
better
I
than that.
can't say.
I liked the non-existent plot better in that.
Fair enough. All right, moving right along then. We are running a little long already after all. We have the dark history of the reincarnated villainess.
この場面知ってる？投獄される展開。呼ばれる名前も私を指してる。間違いない。私転生してる！このままじゃ私死んじゃうよ！この先生き残るには詳しい設定を思い出さなければ。
私はあなたのお姉ちゃんなんだから、あなたが笑うためなら何だってしてあげる。
マジ天使じゃん！
オーアルコノハ様に何かあったら俺はそいつを殺さずにはいられなかったでしょう。
近づくな殺人鬼！
大丈夫だ、必ず助けてみせるから命に変えても。
メインヒーローギノフォード！
僕の前ではありのままのイアナでいてほしい。
こんなやついたっけ？
ローズ王国ハイドランジア隊所属副隊長シャノー・クレマチス警察です。
すごい悪意を感じる。
リアナとこうして過ごせるなんて本当に嬉しいな。
私があなたを見極めるまで勝手に死なれては困ります。ソルが負けることはないと。
あいつは僕が始末してあげるからね。
伯爵令嬢が盗み聞きか。今すぐ事情聴取だ。
私のバカ！これは私の黒歴史の中で私が作り上げた世界。現実の私にとって空想でもそこに生きるキャラクターにとっては全て現実になるだなんて。私が考えた運命の物語、私が今書き直せ。
テレビアニメ「転生悪女の黒歴史」2025年放送開始。
Well, like we said at the start, I tend to handle villainous animes. Oddly enough, it still feels weird that I'm the one who likes these more than any of you on this. So I'm thinking you just straight skip this one.
I did actually end up watching like 2 episodes of it. It did end up hooking a family member of mine a little bit, but then they got sidetracked by watching the entirety of Solo Leveling, so I didn't get very far in it.
Yeah. So I think we went over at the start. That middle schooler writing a story. Imagine just having to live in your own fan fiction. Yes, all of it, all of the cringe, all of your 14-year-old impulsive, over the top love story. But they really did this. All of your but this doesn't look like this because my friends thought this. It's like, oh, but I better change. It's like it's a joke that they rely on a lot, but using it in the world and using it as those character reflections, and the main girl having to live in her story as what was supposed to be the first villainess to die and the first real thing to get killed is a very fun story for me. As far as villainous ones go, we've seen a lot of garbage. This is so fun and so entertaining. which so many of these tend to get. Which I think the last one I thoroughly enjoyed this much was middle-aged businessman gets reincarnated as a villainess.
Yeah. I can see why. Like it's not that it is similar, but it has a little bit of those kind of vibes to it.
Yeah. Did you do something with your mic? You're sounding a little bit more tinny than normal.
Oh, it got kind of knocked out of position. My bad.
No problem. You were still clear coming out. It's just like, oh, you're a little off. Just want to make sure of that one. I think I want to put this in our second B category, just because, once again, it's not going to drag a lot of new people into the villainous genre, but it's fun. It's entertaining. You get to see the main character know what's going to come up and dread every second of it, not because of how like terrifying it's going to be, but because, oh my god, I can't believe I wrote that. Ah!
Yeah, it's clever and the cringe is relatable.
Which I'm just only realizing there's 3 shows that like 14 like feel like a 14-year-old wrote them this season. But all right.
Okay, next up we have Touring After the Apocalypse.
Our third post-apocalyptic show this season.
シェルターから出られなかったらこんな景色一生見られなかったな。続きをねえ、次はここ行ってみようか。もうダメかと思った。でもすごかったね。爆発する。いただきます。おいしい。愛理は陽子と一緒ならどこでも行く。このままずっとツーリング続けられたらいいね。ずっと一緒がいい。
Alright, I'm assuming you didn't watch much of this one, right?
No, it's I'm starting to realize why I bounced off. It's like I was already eating 2 other really good post-apocalyptic shows, and this felt bland to me.
Well, it's also very like Yuri bait, cute girls doing cute things, which isn't really in your usual vein.
Also, it had that heavy melancholy feel.
Oh yeah, for sure. So this isn't a bad series. Like it's kind of decent. Its biggest crimes are probably some occasional bad CGI, particularly at the start of the first episode, which feels like they really probably should have done better there to try to catch an audience, but whatever. And the fact that just a lot of stuff feels unexplained and unresolved. They just like they set up all these like little mystery hooks, and then they don't explain any of it. You're like just supposed to accept that that's not really what the series is about and just enjoy the girls doing their thing. One of these girls, at least, is some kind of robot or android, and we never get any explanation or context on that whatsoever. There's no explanation for the fact that she still eats food. She acts, for all other intents and purposes, exactly like a normal human, and we just have to accept that occasionally she shoots plasma beams out of her arm.
Which normally would be a kind of a nice little extra hook, but we got that in a better package this season.
Exactly.
Like almost exactly.
And in a worse package. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is pretty C tier stuff. It's not offensive. It just is. I would say it's probably a little bit less entertaining than the Little Sister show. Probably around there feels about right, roughly. Please watch Apocalypse Hotel instead. Thank you. I'll move on.
Or the other two post-apocalyptic shows we had this season.
Indeed. Next up is With You, Our Love Will Make It Through.
Ooh, I need some water. I'm gonna think. There's some words about this one.
もしかして遅刻ですか？ここ行けますよ。よ。
超えるのか、そこ。
はい。一緒に超えちゃいましょう。声低かった。
顔犬じゃん。
日高はお前たちと同じ16歳の高校生だ。よ
ろしく。
お前と楽しい学校生活を送ってみたい。
日高君はクラスメイトだよ。多分誰よりも当たり前と普通に敏感な優しい男の子。
ありがとう。
The goodest voice.
君と超えて恋にね。2025年秋放送開始。
Well, you mentioned having some words for it. Do you want to take the lead on it then?
Yeah, first off, I'm gonna have to do a minor confession because this show really did make me realize I have a type, and they're generally blue-furred wolf boys.
Yeah, that did come up in the preseason stream for sure.
Which okay, but